Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. Among today's most important news stories, let's begin with the situation in Lahore, particularly the one being faced by Amin Gandapur. Ever since he sent that delegation from Lahore and held a press conference with a convoy, he has been under intense scrutiny. In that press conference he faced tough questions. Additionally, there's been considerable criticism from both within and outside the party regarding the meeting at Mirza Faridi's house. You've probably noticed this is also a topic of wide discussion in the media. Veteran journalist Habib Akram, known for objective reporting and not indulging in partisan bias, has reported that the decision to go to Mirza Faridi's house was solely Gandapur's own, and many people didn't even know he was taking the delegation there. Some interpret this differently, and we'll talk about that. But first, there's another very important piece of news I want to address. The first result has come in. Yes, the first result has arrived. And this result is for our generals, especially since the clashes ended a few months ago. Since then, the DG ISPR, corps commanders and other senior military officers have been visiting schools, colleges and universities repeatedly, much like Mahmud of Ghazni's raids on the Somnath temple, repeatedly one after another. These visits were highly controlled. Letters were sent to universities in advance, informing them of the general's visits. Students who might raise questions were screened out. A carefully curated atmosphere was created. At first, they played silent documentaries. Then came some speeches, applause, patriotic songs by Sahir Ali Bagha. The entire environment was orchestrated. On the surface, it all looked well managed, but now the results are starting to come in. The first result came from a school. The second came from a street intersection. On one side, you have a well-off, educated, school-going child from an upper-middle-class background giving their opinion. On the other, a poor man riding a motorbike through flooded streets from a lower-income neighborhood also voices his opinion. And guess what? The message is the same from both. Even in America, when the economically underprivileged speak, their language can be harsh or laced with profanity. The same goes for anywhere else in the world. For instance, recall when Khawaja Asif was in the UK. Someone harshly insulted him inside a train, filmed it, and it went viral. Afterward, Asif came back to Pakistan, but due to that incident, he returned to the UK and organised a public event. You might also remember the Scotland Yard police were called into the Pakistani embassy. Refresh your memory. They were served tea, sweets and snacks. 2 or 3 officers sat in front of him. Khawaja Asif sat there like a complainant, the embassy staff beside him. Pakistani pro-government journalists claimed that now London police would take swift action and arrest the offenders because of the abusive language used against him. We don't know if the London cops had tea or sweets, but even if they tasted them, they still returned to their police station, reviewed the evidence, including the video of the insults, and finally told Khawaja Asif, "Yes, you were insulted badly. There's no doubt about that. It's natural for you to be upset. But under UK law, verbal abuse is not a criminal offence. We, as police, cannot intervene. You can't press criminal charges just because someone swore at you. That's how it works in every civilised society. If someone swears at you, it's disgraceful, wrong and offensive. But it's not a criminal case. Just like if you go to a restaurant and accidentally break a glass, that doesn't give the owner the right to hit you with a stick. If you run a red light, the cop doesn't get to shoot you in the head. There's a proportionate punishment for every wrongdoing as determined by society and the law. That's the contract between citizens and the state. So the Scotland Yard police ignored the snacks, politely heard his case and ultimately told him, "Yes, you were insulted and this may happen again. But legally we can't do anything. Maybe just reflect on your behaviour so people don't insult you in the future." With that, Khawaja Asif returned to Pakistan, taking his bruised ego with him. Now, back to Pakistan. This first result from the schools. These generals kept visiting schools, giving lectures, orchestrating grand patriotic shows. But the first real reaction came from a student who said, "Those who grope women like Aliyah Hamza," that was the child's own statement. Now perhaps those going into schools believed the children were listening and buying their narrative. But no, these children already know the truth. They know who's pulling the strings behind every event. They know how institutions, national security, religion, state and democracy are all being used by the powerful to serve their own interests. This generation, Gen Z, won't be fooled. You can't beat them in arguments, logic or communication. So that was the first result from the schools. Some may argue These are just elite, spoiled kids. What about the real public? Well, take a look at Lahore's flooded roads. That wasn't caused by any field marshal pouring buckets of water himself. That was rainwater. It's not the army chief's job to scoop it out. His role is at the borders. But the elderly man on the bike, drenched, poor, from a lower-class background, he cursed the system loudly. Again, we do not endorse profanity, but we also clarify that it's not a criminal offence. Still, even he knew who's really responsible. Yes, the DC, the commissioner, maybe even the minister, the chief minister, they all share blame. But he still cursed the field marshal. Why? Because from schools to intersections, from upper to lower classes, everyone knows who's actually pulling the strings. So this first wave of feedback has been very dangerous. We'll see what comes next. But this first reaction has rattled the power corridors. And then came another twist. The uncle, the chacha who was beaten and coerced into chanting slogans like, "Long live Field Marshal, long live Pakistan Army, long live Maryam Nawaz." Well, now he's an online celebrity in Pakistan. People are saying PTI should give him a Senate ticket. Folks are even crowning him a hero online. On a popular platform like siyasat.pk, a poll was held asking, if Chacha and Nawaz Sharif both ran in elections, who would you vote for? Can you imagine? 99% said they would vote for Chacha, not Nawaz Sharif. Even less than 1% supported Nawaz Sharif. Not just people. Even Grok was asked, if you were human, would you vote for Chacha or Nawaz? Grok replied, Nawaz Sharif has no ideology. We don't even know what he stands for. Chacha is a poor man, yes, and he used profanity, which is bad. But at least he has a point of view. He spoke the truth. So even Grok says he would vote for Chacha. People then posted 3 pictures, the military's Minister of Information, the civilian Minister of Information, Atta Tara and Chacha, labelled as the People's Minister of Information. Look at what a blunder this was. Whoever decided to beat and film Chacha, how foolish were they? They only made him more popular. They're crowning him now, making him a celebrity overnight. Keep going, make him even more popular. Send him more gifts. You're only helping him. So now the situation is very dangerous for those in power. From educational institutions to public squares, they're now receiving real feedback. And in the coming days, more is coming. Remember, Ayub Khan had the same delusion until the people gave their feedback. And when the people speak, they speak bluntly. Have you ever held a flatbread, a roti with a hole in it and poured hot lentils dal over it? From the outside, it seems like you have a full meal. But when the hot dal slips through that hole onto your palm, burning your skin, then you realize what's really going on. That's the situation now. The roti is in the field marshal's hand, but it's leaking hot dal, burning them. They don't know whether to eat it or throw it away. Just like I said, from schools to intersections, they're getting feedback. And more is yet to come. Now let's come back to the news I mentioned earlier, that Habib Gandapur has reached Lahore. He reportedly told everyone to follow him but didn't inform anyone where they were going. This is being said by Habib Akram. I'm not making this claim myself. I'm presenting his story to you. Later, Mr. Gandapur shouldn't be upset with us for revealing this story. It's our job to bring you what's appearing in the media. Habib Akram reports that Mr. Gandapur told everyone, "Follow me," without informing them beforehand. When they reached the Mirza Afridi farmhouse in Lahore, many members were furious. They said, "Why did you bring us here?" They weren't told anything in advance. In fact, it's even being written on social media that some members used foul language, asking why they were brought there. Analyses on social media suggest that this whole Lahore trip was an attempt to legitimize Mr. Mirza Afridi. Again, I'm not saying this, I'm repeating what's circulating on social media. The theory is that this was all orchestrated to secure a Senate ticket for Mirza Afridi. People are asking, if 500 vehicles can go all the way to Lahore, why have they never gone to Adiala jail? Others are saying, fine, the vehicles reached Lahore from as far as Peshawar. Let's see if even 200 or 300 of them make it to Adiala on the next hearing. Today is Sunday, tomorrow is Monday, then Tuesday. So people are saying, let's wait and see if any of these 500 vehicles make it to Adiala. And if they don't, then there's no logic behind going to Lahore either. I personally see no logic in it. And if that's the case, I'll also say it was all theatre. Additionally, a new controversy has emerged, that Aliyah Hamza Sahiba was never even invited. Neither were other local organisational members from Punjab. And now voice notes are leaking in the media. One of them allegedly from Sheikh Waqas, where he's reportedly telling someone, you shouldn't come. This is only for parliamentary members. We don't know if he was speaking to her or someone else. But media reports claim that he told Aliyah Hamza, you're not supposed to attend. This is for parliamentary delegation only. All of this has made the situation very dubious. If you connect all the dots, none of it makes sense. It becomes entirely unclear and questionable. On one hand, we're told that if we go to Adiala, our members from KP Assembly might be arrested since they have affairs against them. But those very same KP members went all the way to Lahore, deep into the domain of Maryam Nawaz, and no one arrested them. They reached Mirza Afridi's house, gave speeches, and then, instead of launching the planned protest on August 5th, a 90-day delay was announced. Imran Khan had said one thing, but what we are seeing and hearing is completely different. So when you put all this together, it becomes clear. There's more to this story than meets the eye. The very members who supposedly couldn't go to Adiala due to court cases were able to go to Mirza Afridi's farm in Lahore. The protest call has been pushed by 90 days, and people like Aliya Hamza are saying they weren't invited. Leaked audio suggests she was told not to attend because this was a parliamentary delegation only. All of this creates confusion and suspicion. Reporters also asked Mr. Gandapur some very tough questions in Lahore, and he gave sharp replies. But still, nothing adds up. 2 plus 2 is not equaling 4. There's significant confusion here. I disagree with how things are unfolding. Another point, when Mirza Afridi has been accused so heavily of allegedly giving bribes of 500 million rupees to individuals, and when he publicly left the party and denounced it in a press conference in May, then what is the desperation to give him a ticket? What services has he rendered that we don't know about? This is why these analyses are happening. In my personal opinion, people like Kuram, Zishan, or other loyal workers should be given the ticket instead. Now that Mirza Afridi is such a controversial figure, he should not be given a ticket. That's my opinion. Now, those friends who reached Lahore, their real test will be on Tuesday. Let's see if they show up at Adiala or not. If they do, I'll take back everything I've said. I'll apologize for all the commentary and analysis I've shared, and everyone else criticizing them should also apologize. I'll say they are truly committed and courageous if they show up at Adiala. But if they don't go to Adiala and only went to Lahore, then it's clear the story is something else, and you can decide for yourself what that is. Now let's move to the next story from Punjab. Tractor sales in Punjab have dropped significantly. Previously, around 29,000 to 30,000 tractors were sold annually. Now they've hit their lowest units in years. Over the past 2 decades, this is the lowest tractor sales figure. Similarly, this year marks the lowest wheat price percentage being given to farmers in 21 years. Fertilizer stock prices have also skyrocketed because people simply don't have the money to buy fertilizer. So when you connect these 3 data points, tractors, wheat and fertilizer, it's clear that farmers have been ruined and destroyed. Next story about Imran Khan's sons. Imran Khan's sons are reportedly being threatened by pro-establishment journalists. They're being told that if they come to Pakistan, terrorists might attack them or they could be harmed. They're not saying it in exact words. But the message is, if Imran Khan's sons come to Pakistan, there may be a terrorist attack, an incident or tragedy. When Benazir Bhutto was planning to return to Pakistan, similar warnings were issued by General Pervez Musharraf's regime, and later there was an assassination attempt and she was martyred. Now similar threats are being given to Imran Khan's sons, that if they come to Pakistan, a terrorist attack might occur. So pay attention to this pattern. We'll talk more about this in tomorrow's vlog. For now, I'm just leaving this as food for thought. Ask yourself, why are these pro-establishment journalists spreading this narrative? Who's making them do it? Final story, our Field Marshal is going to Indonesia. Indonesia faces troubles similar to Pakistan. The public there also has a very strong stance on Israel. They say, yes, talk to Israel if you want, but only after Palestinians get their rights. Much like Pakistan, their public is staunchly pro-Palestine. Just like our leaders can't take decisions above the people's heads, neither can theirs. Like us, they too are finding it difficult to align with Saudi Arabia on this matter. Now it seems that our Field Marshal and their counterparts are sitting together, trying to figure out how to deliver on promises made to President Trump about Israel. That's the real moment now, the time to deliver. Let's see whether they can deliver or not. That's why he's going to Indonesia. We'll see if they give something to Indonesia, or Indonesia gives something to them, or both leave empty-handed. But one thing is certain, both countries' people stand in one place, and their ruling elites stand elsewhere. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.